Greetings viewers. The weather here in Florida lately has not been very kind in terms of allowing me to go out and shoot and film for you guys. I know that if it's not raining, we're not training. However, unfortunately my camera and recording equipment is not waterproof, so that doesn't do me any good to be able to go out and actually produce something for you and actually put in something kind of engaging or entertaining where we're slinging rounds downrange. So instead of doing another video of me sitting behind a table just talking your ear off, I wanted to do something a little bit different where I can actually show you some things, but we're inside and it's going to kind of pertain to the same situation where it's raining, you're not able to get out to the range, and it could be, you know, again, a myriad of situations where, let's say, you don't have the budget to be able to pay for ammo to go out and shoot all the time. I'm going to show you some things that you can do in the comfort of your own home. You can be standing in front of the mirror in your underwear and not have to spend a dime other than the equipment you already own. So let's start talking about that real quick. So when I teach pistol classes, one of the very first things that I ever go over are malfunction drills, and those are the number one most important thing that may potentially save your life. In this particular video, I am not going to go over them in specificity and teach you how to correct them. I would definitely recommend taking some sort of class from a trained professional that's going to go over that if you're not familiar, or find another video. And my reasoning for that is simply this, that there have been numerous incidents, more than I can count, where the good guy survived because the bad guy's gun didn't work and he didn't know how to fix it. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be responsible for putting something out there that teaches said bad guy how to fix their gun in that sort of situation, which then turns the tides on the good guy. And I, again, do not want to be personally responsible for teaching them that. I don't care if there's 1,000 videos out there they can go look at, they can watch somebody else's. I'm not going to do that. I am just going to explain that you need to understand them, you need to know what they are, what the different stage malfunctions are, and how to clear them. So one of the things that can help you with that are dummy rounds. So basically they are just inert rounds, and they're just either made out of metal or plastic. Some of them are a little bit more high-vis orange than these red ones that I have. They are inert rounds that look and feed and are shaped the same as the normal rounds that would go in your weapon. They come in a variety of calibers, and you can use these to help simulate some of the malfunctions that you're going to encounter. Another thing that you can do when you're on the range doing live fire is insert these in. You can just take a handful of rounds, mix these in with them. They'll usually come in a pack of 5 or 6. These 9mm ones I have are in a pack of 5, and just mix them up with a handful of ammo. Don't even look, and just start loading rounds in your mags. So when you get to them and you get that click instead of a bang, you have already practiced indoors here, dry fire without live ammo. You should know how to respond and be able to clear it quickly. Now, I will say that the high-vis orange ones are a lot better for outdoors. If you've got tall grass or anything out there and you don't want to be hunting for them, I would definitely recommend getting something like that. The ones that I have here are kind of a dull metal color. I'll typically use these more when I'm inside or somewhere where on concrete or indoors where they're going to be easier to spot. I feel like these are a little bit more heavy duty than some of the other ones that are made out of plastic or other materials, so that's why I chose to go with these. So like I said, I am very big proponent of practicing malfunction drills because untrained individuals, children, anybody that gets their hand on a firearm can figure out how to operate it. You point it, you pull the trigger, it goes bang. Well, the times that it doesn't go bang and you need it to, especially if it's in the heat of the moment and you need it to go bang right now and it didn't, that's not the time to be scrambling and trying to figure out and wishing that you had practiced a little bit more, learned how to fix malfunctions. That's something that needs to come naturally. So when it happens, you respond to it immediately without even thinking about it. And it could potentially, again, save your life or somebody else's if you're not fumbling with your gun trying to figure it out, because that's not the time to learn. In that particular situation, OJT is not the way to learn how to fix a malfunction. We revert to our lowest form of training in a time of panic when that adrenaline's dumping and your heart's beating and everything's going on and there's just nothing but chaos. If you can do it smoothly and efficiently and get it done the way you've trained it properly, it'll happen and you won't even think about it. Again, I'm not going to specifically go over and explain how to fix the malfunctions that you may encounter. They need to become smooth. They need to become second nature so that you can conduct them smoothly and efficiently to get your gun back in the fight. This is just a typical something that I would wear if I'm concealed carrying. I've just got my overshirt here with an undershirt between myself and my holster that I've got on the small of the back, carrying a Glock 19, and I've got my spare mag and flashlight up front here. so that I have something to reload from, which we'll talk about shortly. So going along with the malfunction drills and using dummy rounds, so practicing your draw is a big one. It's not something that you may think about, but I can tell you every time before I leave the house, after I put my weapon on, I will at least at a minimum practice my draw 10 times or more before I leave the house, because it may seem odd, you know, you know where the gun is, I know how to do it, I've done it 100 times. Well, sometimes I wear different pants or shorts, and the belt loops may be in a different spot. So my holster is not sitting exactly where it was when I went out yesterday. So now my holster's actually shifted an inch forward or an inch backwards, and it's in a different position, so that muscle memory of putting my hands where it needs to be to get a good grip may be in the wrong spot. And now I've got to readjust, and doing that on the fly in the heat of the moment is probably not going to end well. So just to make myself feel better, that's one of the things that I'll do. Now, it doesn't matter where you carry. If you carry appendix, if you carry small of the back, somewhere else on your person in some sort of sneaky Pete holster, whatever your preference is, it doesn't matter. Again, I don't ever try and tell you guys specific, you need to do it this way or you're wrong. I'm just trying to give you the basic building blocks, and you can adapt it to your situation as needed. So again, if I'm carrying appendix and I'm going for my gun, the first thing I need to do is I need to get my cover garment out of the way, because the last thing that you want to do is get caught up. You go to reach in and you pull out, and now you're fighting your shirt, and now you've just wasted precious time getting that gun into the fight. Again, could be saving your life or somebody else's. So in my particular situation, again, I'm carrying in the small of my back. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to get that cover garment out of the way. So I'm going to reach back as far as I can until I'm at least touching the holster where it is. If I can shift my hips forward a little bit to help myself, I'll do that, but I can still stay oriented where I need to be, and I'm lifting that shirt up out of the way. I've got a firm grip on it. I'm actually positioning my support hand here for supporting my draw stroke here in just a second. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reach back, and I'm going to get a nice good grip on my pistol. Bring it out, start orienting it forward. Well, guess what? This hand's already set here. I can now release and marry my hands up, get my nice shooting grip, punch out. I'm already looking downrange here, but I can start to pick up this front sight. I really like these Trijicon HD night sights. They're extremely easy to pick up that dot. So as I'm punching out forward, I've already got that sight locked in, and all I'm doing is snapping that rear sight in, and I'm on target. So again, simply practicing that draw is going to make you a little bit faster and a little bit more efficient when it comes time to getting it out. Again, your holster may not be sitting in the same spot. You may have just come from Thanksgiving dinner and put on a couple pounds, and things are shifting around or not sitting where they normally would. So make sure that you are practicing. And again, this is something you can do every single day before you leave the house. And those repetitions are going to make it a lot more comfortable and easy, and something you're not going to have to think about. So same thing, I go on target, I go to fire, my gun doesn't go off, it goes click instead of bang. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to identify what the problem is. Strip the mag out. I saw the round fall out, so I know it's clear, and I'm back on target. Again, practicing those malfunction drills is going to help you with identifying something like that. Because if you know anything about clearing malfunctions, again, I'm not going to go into it with this in any of my videos. Something like that in the experience and training and practice, if you see that, you've just now been able to skip a step and move a little bit ahead and get your gun back in the fight even faster. I know this may seem like basic information. Hopefully, if you're still sticking with me here, it makes sense. And you haven't said, I already know all that stuff. And the problem is that's the kind of attitude where people don't practice these skills, and something ends up happening and they're like, you know what, I wish that I had, and it's a little late. And I don't want you to get to that point. I want you to be proficient and knowledgeable and have the skills and ability and be able to do it quickly, because the more comfortable you are with it and the more you practice it, the faster you're going to get. So you pull your gun out, you go to use it, it goes click instead of bang. That bad guy's got a little bit of time there, but the more time you take away from him to respond to that situation and be able to get your gun back in the fight and handle business and do what you need to do, the better off you are and the more likely that the situation may turn out favorable for you. So we've got malfunction drills, we've got your draw. Again, two very basic things. We're doing it without any sort of ammunition use, and it's not costing us anything to do this other than our time. So the other thing is going to be reloads. And I'll talk about this when I go over EDC and what I carry and why I carry it and just my thoughts and opinions on it, but my recommendation is to always carry an extra mag. Anything out there that is mechanical has a potential to fail. It could be a spring, it could be any number of things, and the magazine that you have in your gun just decides in that moment when you need it to work that it's going to stop, and if you have nothing to switch to, that's going to be a bad day. Or you've used all the ammunition in your main carry magazine and you've got to reload, the last thing you want to do is be standing there with an empty gun in your hand wondering, well, what do I do? Can I just start swinging this thing around and maybe I can pistol whip somebody? Probably not going to be a good option, so it's always nice to have a backup. So there's two different kinds of reloads to talk about. The first one's going to be, and some people call it a normal reload, some people call it an emergency reload. I'm sure there's 1,000 other terms out there for it, but we're just going to call it a regular reload. And then we've got what's called a tactical reload. So let's talk about the first one. Also, one of the other things that I like to do is, so I'm about to pull my pistol out to demonstrate. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get another rep in. So I'm going to move my cover garment, get my grip, punch out, come back, and then now I'm going to go ahead and get ready to demonstrate. So we're going to talk about a regular reload. This is just a Glock 19 pistol. This is a Glock 17 magazine, so it does stick out a little bit. I carry a 15 round mag in this thing and a 22 round backup magazine, because why not carry a little bit of extra ammo? Being here in this magazine pouch, when it sticks up, I don't have as much of a worry about it because it's not poking out sideways like the butt of the gun pushing against my shirt. My slide locks to the rear. My pistol's now empty. I do my check to make sure that's what it is. It didn't stop working because it malfunctioned. It stopped working because it's empty. So I'm punched out. I identify the problem. Well, I need to get this empty mag out. It's not doing me any good, and I need to get my new mag. So you can do all of this in one motion. Again, the more you practice it, the faster and more efficient you can get. So as I break my grip off of here, I'm keeping my gun up in my workspace. I can still see past here. I'm still aware of what's going on. I can keep an eye on a bad guy. If he's moving, ducking, dodging, sneaking around, whatever. If I'm doing this, I have no idea what's going on, and likely I'm going to probably catch a round on the top of the head, and that's not going to end well for me. So keeping your gun up in your workspace. I have to get this out of the way to get to it, get my nice grip. I like to hold my magazine like this. I orient my finger on it so that I know where this finger is pointing, so I know where my magazine is. Even if it's dark or low light situation, I know that when I pull this out, that my magazine is oriented the exact same way every single time. So before I even get this out, I'm already dropping my other mag. Hopefully it drops free. Again, practice is gonna show you, but hopefully your magazines pop out freely and they don't get stuck, because then you're gonna have to fiddle with it and get it out. But again, I've got my finger pointed here. I know where it's going, slam it in there. Sometimes if you slam it hard enough, the slide will close itself. I call that Hollywooding it. I will quite often do that. I've only ever had it malfunction and not load around twice in my lifetime of shooting. If again, you practiced your malfunction drills and you go to shoot after doing that and it doesn't work, then there's a remedy for that and you should be able to fix it rather quickly, but at least you have a loaded magazine in your gun and it's not empty anymore. I slammed it, nothing happened, it didn't come out. We've got two options. One, depending on your slide release, if you can use your thumb, you can drop it. A lot of people say that that's not a viable option because in a stressful situation, your fine motor skills go and you're not going to be able to do it. That's true to some extent. However, again, if it's second nature and you've practiced it 1,000 times, chances are you're going to revert to that when something happens and you're going to be able to make it happen without actually thinking about it. The other option, get your mag in, simply reach over and charge your pistol manually. There's no rounds in here, so it's not going forward. So I'm going to hold the slide release. I'm going to let go, and I'm putting my gun back in the fight. So practicing those reloads, again, is going to get you more efficient and get you smoother and actually get it done a lot quicker. All right, so let's go ahead and just do that in real time. So I'm going to practice my draw, pull out, punch on target, go to click, look, my gun's empty, switch, and I'm back on target. And again, the more you practice and the more you do it and you find which method works better for you, the faster you're gonna get. So obviously any of these things are also viable options to practice on the range when you're live fire, but again, we're starting here in a comfortable, dry environment, no live ammunition, getting those basic mechanical movements and functions down, and then transition that into actual live fire. This is great for somebody that may not be comfortable with a firearm yet. Maybe you're considering concealed carry, but you're kind of iffy about it still, but you want to practice and get more comfortable with the gun before you actually start doing that, and that's great. This is perfect for that because, again, you don't have all that extra stress of worrying about the live ammunition and something bad happening. As long as you've got no ammo around you and you're practicing these, everything's going to be fine. So I talked about a second type of reload, which is called a tactical reload. The normal reload or emergency reload, basically you were using your gun and it went empty. You spent all the ammunition and you need more in there now. So basically what a tactical reload is you fired a couple rounds, whatever the situation is that happened. Let's just say you get in a self-defense shooting, you put 3 to 5 rounds down range and the threat is taken care of as far as you can tell. But again, depending on the situation, you don't want to be focused on just everything that happened. You need to kind of snap out of it a little bit and pay attention, because it's possible that that guy that you just handled business with, his friends are not far behind, and you need to be kind of looking around and get some situational awareness. And just in the event that something happens and you don't even, or potentially you don't remember how many rounds you fired. And so let's get our pistol out. So I've fired a couple of rounds. My gun, the slide's still forward. I know that there's still ammunition in here, or possibly there is. I don't know. Things are going on. It's crazy. I was just involved in a shooting. So what I would like to do to give myself the most advantage is I want to have more bullets in my gun. So like I said, I carry a 22 round backup mag versus the stock 15 round mag that comes in a Glock 19. So I'm going to come up off target. I'm going to kind of scan my area a little bit. I'm going to snap out of that situation, try and get rid of that tunnel vision. My hearing should be coming back. And I'm kind of looking around, trying to figure things out. I want to make sure that I give myself the most advantage possible, and I want to get more ammo in this gun. I know I may still have some in here. It's possible the mag may be empty and the slide just went forward. That'll happen too. But let's just say we shot 3 to 5 rounds, so I've got at least 10 left in here, but I want 22 in there. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to leave my gun out. I'm ready to respond at any moment. I'm still being aware of my situation. But I'm going to go ahead and retrieve my secondary source of ammunition. So this mag will have ammo in it. It's fully loaded, ready to go. I don't want to get rid of this one. I'm not going to kick it out and throw it on the ground, because I want all the ammunition for myself and I want to have it accessible now. So like I said, I pull my magazine out with my index finger oriented here. So what we're going to do is we need to now get this magazine out and we need to trade it for this one. Well, how do we do that with one hand? Well, you've got more fingers in here and you should be able to grip and hold another magazine. So typically what I will do with my magazine and my support hand oriented like this, I will simply use my pinky and the palm of my hand to remove that magazine. So now I have 2 mags in this hand. I still have a round in the chamber here. If something really bad were to happen, I could still fire off a round. So I'm still ready to go. I'm going to then rotate my hand and I'm going to insert normally. So now my gun is topped off with as many rounds as I can possibly feed into it. I can use my body to reacquire a better grip on this, and I'm going to return this to my magazine pouch. So I still have it on me in the event that now I go through this mag, I have something else to reload with. It may not be full, but I've still got something rather than nothing. So let's just go ahead and see that in practice. So get my gun out, boom, bang, I've shot a couple rounds. The situation's sort of calm for now. I'm kind of looking around. I'm gonna go to my second mag, and I'm ready to go again. So again, practicing your malfunction drills is gonna be number 1. That's great. You can practice your stance, grip, trigger control, sight alignment, sight picture. You can do that all day long. But those malfunction drills are ultimately what may end up saving your life. So incorporating those into your training is an absolute must. Doing it dry with no live ammunition, doing it on the range with live ammunition, mix it up. Every time you go to the range, if you do the same thing and you bring a 50-round box and you stand there at the 7-yard line and do slow fire, that's great for building your fundamentals, but you also need to mix it up so your brain, your body doesn't get bored, because what's going to happen is a situation's going to occur where that's not going to be, where the only thing you've trained is something that has nothing to do with the scenario that's going on, and your body is going to have that response where it's kind of uncomfortable and doesn't know what's going on. So trying different things, mixing it up a little bit is going to be huge. Trying at different shooting positions, trying at different distances is going to be beneficial to you. Working on your draw stroke, whatever concealed carry method you have, again, it doesn't matter if you're carrying in a briefcase, a purse, a flashbang holster, a sneaky Pete, pocket holster, ankle holster, it doesn't matter. Again, pulling your shirt out of the way probably isn't going to help your ankle holster situation, but how are you going to get to that ankle holster? Are you going to squat down and do it? Are you going to bring your leg up and stand on one leg like a flamingo? That's up to you to determine what method works best for you. If you're in a seated position, that's going to be a lot different than standing. Is there a table in front of you that you're used to bending down? How are you going to bend down through a table to reach it? So these are the kind of things that you need to think about. It's not always going to be on a flat range 7 yards away shooting at a target. You've got to consider these things. What if you're sitting in your car and you need to draw your pistol, or a movie theater, or again, you're at a restaurant, you're in a booth, you got stuck in a booth and you're in the middle of people on either side and you can't just jump up and spring into action and you've got to shoot from that position. Have you practiced shooting from a seated position? That's going to be a little bit different because, again, it's telling your brain, this isn't what I'm used to, so I need to adjust a little bit. And then you don't want that uncomfortability factor interfering with you responding to the threat in an appropriate manner. Try it standing. Try it seated. Try laying on the ground. Maybe you're in the mall and somebody started firing off rounds and a stampede knocked you over. You got hit by a stray round and you fell down. You're still trying to figure out what's going on. Well, in a prone or supine position, you can still lay down effective fire. You can still draw your weapon. So practice all of those things. This is a great time to do it. Again, certain ranges don't allow you to draw from a holster. This is the time to practice when you're in the comfort of your own home and you can do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about people judging you. You don't have to worry about getting in trouble and violating rules. And you're able to get those reps in so that, again, it's more comfortable and it's more natural for you to perform those actions when the time comes to do it. Practicing your reloads. Those are really great, especially if you have a shot timer and you're allowed to rapid fire wherever it is that you shoot, because you can have some sort of measure of your speed and how fast you're getting at it. Because if you time yourself and you do it for the first time and you're like, man, that was really sloppy and slow, and you just start practicing these reloads dry and getting down the movements, you're going to go out to the range and I guarantee you, you turn that shot clock on and your times are going to improve. Shot timers aren't the be-all end-all, however, they are a good measure of being able to tell if you are actually improving or not. So get those reload drills in. Do both kinds of reloads. Do an emergency reload, practice your tactical reload. It's not easy juggling 2 magazines with one hand, and everybody's got different mobility and different sized hands. Some people could probably fit 3 magazines in their hand and still have room for more. Some people may have trouble with just 2, depending on what gun you're firing. You may have a 45 versus a 380. Your mags are going to be different sizes, so it may be easier to do it with one than the other. This is why you practice those things now, so they don't become a problem later and you're a little bit more comfortable and accustomed to it. I'm repeating myself a lot, but there's a reason for that typically. If you hear the same thing over and over again, it's probably important. I want you to go out there and I want you to succeed. I want you to go home at the end of the day, and the only way you're going to do that is by winning. And the only way you're going to win is to give yourself the best advantage possible. People don't become Olympic athletes because they sit on the couch and eat potato chips and watch a sport and then go out there and go, yeah, I can do that, and then win gold. They practice, they live it, they breathe it, they do it every single day. These are drills you can do every single day. Like I said, before I leave the house, I will draw my pistol 10 times at a minimum. Depending on how much time I have, before I have to leave, it'll be more than that. Find somebody that's a reputable trainer near you and get some training. If you're not that comfortable and you don't want Uncle Bubba teaching you in the backyard because he's not the most safe, that's probably better to find an outside person to help with that sort of thing. There's many firearms instructors out there, and some of them have a private range where maybe, again, you're not able to practice your draw stoke, you're not able to do rapid fire on the range, and you go to a training class and sign up and get some good not only knowledge and skills, but you're also going to get those repetitions in with live fire. Because yes, sitting here doing this in your underwear in front of the mirror every day, all day, you're going to be better off than somebody that doesn't practice. But that person that does that and practices live fire, they're going to be better than you. So the more reps you get and more situations you put yourself in and change it up so it's not always the same static thing over and over again, the better off you're going to be in the end. If you've made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found something entertaining, educational, useful to you in your particular situation. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. As always, I'm open to constructive criticism or feedback. If there's anything that I can do to make the videos better for you, if you have any questions, if you feel like there's something I didn't cover or that you want to know more about, just ask down below. I do my best to respond to all my comments that I can. So again, just let me know what you think. If you thought the video sucked, that's great. Tell me what I can do to make it not suck. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.